Your alarm goes off. You check your phone before your eyes are even fully open. You have somewhere to be, something to finish, someone waiting on you. And somewhere deep inside, you feel it. That quiet exhaustion. Not from yesterday, from years of it. Now imagine waking up tomorrow with absolutely nowhere to be. No alarm. No job. No schedule. No one waiting. Just you, and an entire day that belongs completely to you. For most people today, that sounds like a dream. But for ancient humans, that was just Tuesday. Modern humans spend roughly 90,000 hours of their lives working. 90,000 hours. That is 1/3 of every waking moment you will ever have. Gone, to a job. But for 99% of human history, jobs did not exist. No employment. No wages. No boss. No Monday morning. So the question is simple. What on earth did they actually do all day? The answer is stranger than you think, and more beautiful than you could imagine. In 1963, archaeologist Richard Lee did something no one had done before. He followed a group of people still living the way ancient humans lived, and wrote down exactly what they did every single day. He tracked the Jew/Hoansi people of Botswana, one of the last remaining groups on Earth living without agriculture, without money, without employment. What he found changed everything. Adults spent about 2.5 days per week finding food. That's roughly 17 hours. The rest of the time was theirs. And before you say, well, that's just one group, researchers found the exact same pattern in Tanzania, in Paraguay, in Australia. Different continents, different environments, different cultures. Same result. 15 to 20 hours of work per week. Every single time. For context, you probably work twice that. Every week. For your entire life. But if they really had all that time, what did they actually do with it? The bones know. When scientists compare ancient human skeletons to the skeletons of early farmers, the difference is shocking. Ancient hunter-gatherers were taller, stronger, healthier teeth, less damage to their joints, fewer signs of disease. Early farmers? Shorter, weaker bones, teeth destroyed by grain-heavy diets, spines showing the damage of repetitive heavy labor. And they died younger. Much younger. The bones tell the story without a single word. Ancient humans were not grinding themselves down every single day just to survive. They were actually doing pretty well. Better than the people who came after them. Better, in many ways, than us. But the most extraordinary evidence isn't in the bones at all. It's on the walls. In 1994, explorers crawled into a cave in southern France that had been sealed for 30,000 years. What they found inside made them sit down on the cave floor and stare. Horses, lions, rhinoceroses, painted on the walls with perspective, with shading, with movement so real, it looks like the animals are running when the torchlight flickers. This was not primitive scratching. This was art. Sophisticated, skilled, deliberate art. And someone made it deep inside a dark cave, by firelight, 30,000 years ago. That painting did not feed anyone. It did not protect anyone. It served no survival purpose whatsoever. It existed simply because someone had the time to make it, and the desire to make something beautiful. But Chauvet Cave is not alone. In South Africa, archaeologists found shell beads 100,000 years old. Tiny holes drilled through seashells. The nearest ocean was 20 kilometers away. Someone walked 40 kilometers just to collect beautiful shells, then spent hours drilling holes through them with a stone tool. Just to wear them. Just to look good. In Germany, a vulture bone flute. 40,000 years old. 5 perfectly spaced finger holes. Carved by someone who understood music. Who understood pitch. Who spent real time making something that would make people feel something. Art. Jewelry. Music. All of it made by people who had no jobs. Which raises the real question. What did a single ordinary day actually look like? You wake up when your body is ready. The fire from last night is still breathing. Someone adds wood. The group gathers without being called. Breakfast is social. Leftover meat from yesterday. Some berries. Maybe nuts. People talk. Not planning. Just talking. Because that is what humans do when they are comfortable. Around mid-morning, a few people might leave to hunt. But here is what the movies always get wrong. You don't go every day. If there is still food from 2 days ago, you stay. You sit. You sharpen a spear. Weave a basket. Scrape a hide until it is soft enough to sleep on. Not because someone told you to. Because being skilled at things earns you respect. And respect, in a world without money, is everything. When hunting does happen, it is nothing like what you see in films. Ancient humans were persistence hunters. We did not outrun animals. We outlasted them. We jogged at a steady pace for hours, following tracks, following heat, following exhaustion. Because humans can sweat and keep running. Most animals cannot. They overheat. They slow down. They stop. And we were still coming. 3 to 6 hours later, the hunt is done. The animal is carried back. Everyone eats. And by early afternoon, the productive part of the day is essentially over. This is the part modern people find hardest to understand. After the food was handled, nothing urgent remained. So people did what humans have always done when nothing is urgent. They rested. They talked. They played with children. They groomed each other. They napped in the shade without feeling guilty about it. Anthropologist James Sussman documented that adults in hunter-gatherer groups spent roughly 6 hours every single day in what he called social time. Not working. Not sleeping. Just being with other people. Laughing. Joking. Sitting close together. Because in a world without money, or police, or written laws, your survival depends entirely on whether people like you. If the group does not like you, they do not share when you are hungry. So you invest in relationships the way modern people invest in savings accounts. Not because it is fun. Because it is how you stay alive. And in those quiet afternoon hours, things got made. Small carved figures. Decorated tools. Necklaces from animal teeth. Patterns scratched into flat pieces of stone. Nobody told them to make these things. There was no market for them. No customer waiting. They made them because humans, left alone with time in their own hands, cannot help but create things. It is simply what we are. But the most important hours were the ones after the sun went down. In 2014, anthropologist Polly Wiesner recorded hundreds of hours of conversations among the Jew/Hoansi. During daylight hours, the conversations were practical. Where did you see animal tracks? Which plants are ready? Who is not sharing fairly? But when the fire was lit at night, everything shifted. 81% of night conversations were stories. Myths about how the world began. Tales of ancestors who did impossible things. Jokes that made the whole group laugh at once. Adventures from places no one in the group had ever been. Wiesner argued this is where human culture was actually born. Not in cities. Not in temples. Not in schools. Around a fire. At night. With nothing else to do. Gods were invented here. Creation stories were invented here. The idea of the future. The idea of the past. The idea that there are things beyond what you can see and touch. All of it, born in the dark. Around a fire. From stories told to stay warm. And even sleep was different. Before electric light changed everything, humans slept in 2 separate phases. First sleep. Around 4 hours after dark. Then, a quiet waking period. 1 to 2 hours. Lying in darkness. Not anxious about being awake. Just awake. Thinking. Reflecting. Sometimes talking softly. Then, second sleep. Another 4 hours. Until dawn. Medieval literature is full of references to this first and second sleep pattern. It was completely normal. Waking up at 2 a.m. was not insomnia. It was just the middle of the night. A quiet space between 2 sleeps that belonged entirely to your own thoughts. A built-in daily appointment with your own mind. We lost that when we invented the light bulb. About 10,000 years ago, everything changed. Someone in the Middle East pressed a seed into the ground and waited. It grew. They did it again. And again. And suddenly, you could feed more people. More people arrived. More people needed more food. More food needed more farming. Within a few generations, the trap was set. And there was no way out. Because now, there were too many people to go back to hunting and gathering. The farming had to continue. It had to grow. And farming is hard. Brutally hard. Plowing. Planting. Weeding. Harvesting. Storing. Defending. Season after season. No days off. The skeletal evidence is brutal and clear. Early farmers worked harder. Ate worse. Died younger than every hunter-gatherer who came before them. And yet, the population kept growing. And with population came specialization. Toolmakers. Soldiers. Administrators. Priests. And eventually, jobs. The idea that your time belongs to someone else, in exchange for the resources you need to survive. The original human lifestyle was gone, replaced by schedules, deadlines, a life measured in hours worked, rather than hours lived. Your ancestors woke up every morning already free. They did not work toward a life they wanted. They were already living it. They made art, not because they found time after work. They made art because they had time. They did not need to earn rest. Rest was just part of the day. They did not need to schedule connection. Connection was the day. We are not a different species. Our bodies are the same. Our brains are the same. Our need for rest, for stories, for beauty, for each other, exactly the same. But somewhere along the way, we built a world that leaves almost no room for the things that actually make us human. The life you spend your whole career working toward retiring into was just Tuesday. For them. Every week. For 300,000 years. That fire is still in you. You can still feel it sometimes. In the quiet moments. When you forget to check your phone. When you just sit. And that feeling you get in those moments? That peace? That is not laziness. That is memory. 300,000 years of it.